Welcome, friends. Welcome back to Cocktails After Dark. Today we are continuing our exploration of cocktails with a tequila cocktail. Now, I have spent a lot of time going back through old cocktail books. And one of the things that I found over and over and over and over again is a complete lack of tequila and mezcal cocktails in these cocktail books prior to, the 1960s, and they really don't start showing up in any great strength until the 1970s. And when they do start showing up, they start showing up as a substitute for another spirit. And when I was looking at cocktail books published in Spanish from Mexico, even back into the 1920s, there really weren't any mentions of tequila or mezcal, except as a sort of a very dismissive, oh, it's a coarse drink and we don't want to talk about it, which I find very odd because today, 2020, tequila and mezcal are hot. Everybody wants a tequila or mezcal drink. So today I'm going to make a tequila amaro, which is tequila and Disaronno amaretto. It also has gum syrup or gom syrup, depending on how you want to pronounce it, which should add really nicely to both the flavor and the way it sort of lingers in your mouth after you've tasted it. So I'm using two different tequilas because I want to taste the difference. And I'm using a Casamigos tequila because everybody out there who says that they're a tequila fanatic absolutely loves to hate that tequila. I don't think it's that bad. And I'm also using this one, Cazadores, or I'm sure I'm saying it wrong. Sorry, I'll never get it right. And a couple splashes of orange bitters in each one. And then give these a stir. We've built this in a glass with a nice big clear ice cube. Once it's stirred, little piece of orange over the top, spritz it on, rim the glass, and stick it in. And we do the same for the second one. Now, this is a cocktail recipe that I found online. I found it on too many websites to list where I found it. It's everywhere. And it's one of those things where most of the websites are just cut and paste the same recipe, and they've cut and pasted the same recipe with the same spelling mistakes. So shame on you. And there you have it, the Tequila Amaro cocktail. Two ways, two different tequilas. The Cazadores, which I kind of really like the Cazadores, and the Casamigos that just can't catch a break online. Nobody who leaves a comment likes it. So let's give it a shot. Right up front, orange on the nose, obviously from the orange that I've used. You get an undertone, the sweetness of the Disaronno or the amaretto. And that's about it on the nose. Interesting. And I know that I see it in the comments all the time. People put in the comments, interesting, that's Canadian for saying I don't like it. Interesting. It's trying to be sweet, but it's not sweet. It's not, I don't know. It's confused. Let's try this one. Same on the nose. Just that the amaretto is slightly muted. Okay. In this cocktail, I'm going to say Cazadores comes in second. Casamigos comes in first. This one, the Casamigos, has a much more complex flavor. There's several things going on there. You get a little bit of the sweetness, you get the amaretto, you get the orange, you get a little tiny bit of smokiness from the tequila because it is a slightly smoky tequila. And when I say slightly, I mean slightly smoky tequila. It's so slight that you wouldn't notice it in a lot of other cocktails. But in this one, that flavor sort of comes through a little bit, and it helps bring the whole thing up. It lifts it. It's pronounced a little bit more. Okay, of the two, I like that one better. But giant asterisk, caveat, this is a cocktail that I would only have one of. This is a cocktail that I would have at the end of a meal or at the end of the evening. It's not something that I would start the evening with. It's not something that I would have in the middle. If I was sitting down to meet some friends, you know, for a couple of drinks before we went to dinner, that is not something that I would order, because it does have just a little bit too much sweetness from the amaretto. I mean, this stuff is sweet. Anytime I've ever used it, it pulls through, and I don't know if you could dial that back any. I mean, you could dial back the gum syrup some, but I know what the gum syrup is bringing to this cocktail. It's holding the flavor in my mouth and letting it linger so that you can taste it for a longer period of time. So it just doesn't wash away. It's still in there. I would say this is one that you could definitely play with. I think for me, this would be an end of the night cocktail, or kind of a wintertime, you're bombing around on the snowmobile, you come back to the cottage, you sit in front of the fireplace, and you have one of these, and you just sort of relax a little bit. Thanks for stopping by. See you again soon.